Egatamasa. Hello everyone and welcome to This Week in Stupid for the Valentine's Day of 2021. I suggest to get your missus to watch this segment because that's the best Valentine's gift you can give to your missus, a smile on your face. If you can't get your lady to smile, I definitely can. And to prove it off, here is the first news for the day. You see, in Australia, certain judicial hearings are taking place online. They are being live streamed. But unfortunately, some boomers do not know how to use the technology, and it leads to funny situations such as this.
Mr. Ponton, I believe you have a filter turned on in the video settings. You might want to take a look.
Can you hear me, Judge?
I can hear you. I think it's a filter.
It is, and I don't know how to remove it. I've got my assistant here. She's trying to, but I'm prepared to go forward with it. I'm here live. I'm not a cat.
I'm here, and I'm prepared to go forward with it. Absolute legend. This would actually make for a great defense if you're a hardened criminal. What judge is going to convict this guy? Just look at him. Look at it, and the voice. It goes really well with the picture as well, doesn't it? Although for these criminals that we're going to be talking about, I don't think even that filter will help. Because what they are doing is grotesque. And the British government is having a campaign to let people know that their action has consequences. And thanks for Zuby at Zuby Music is bringing this to our attention. So this is a campaign by the government of the United Kingdom. Although I think they might have hired a professional, a far-right agitator, which fear-mongers. And what am I saying? This is not fear-mongering. This is completely based in science. Look her in the eyes and tell her you never bend the rules. Look him in the eyes and tell him you always kept a safe distance. Look him in the eyes and tell him the risk isn't real. This inspires me to make a song. I mean, Zuby Music posted this. So what do you think the song would be? Because I know the lyrics, I just don't know the music. Maybe like some heavy metal, I can get Sticks and Hammer, and he can be like, look her in the eyes. Oh, probably not. Maybe like one of those, you did this. You did this. Maybe like that. Or it's like, you're the bioweapon. Okay, I'll stop. I'll stop before everyone just stops watching my video. Damn it. You people don't appreciate the song of my angelic voice. But more of these from the British taxpayer. I'm also curious though, like, will they ever make a chart to see how effective these were? Like, if people aren't being more compliant after seeing this, wouldn't it be considered a waste of taxpayer money? What am I saying? The government knows how to spend your money far better than you. Act like you've got it. She's got it. Yeah, baby. The new COVID-19 variant is spreading fast. We all need to play our part to stop the spread. Stay at home to help us save lives. If you go out, you can spread it. People will die. Stay home this bank holiday weekend. Don't put your friends and family in danger. Coronavirus. Stay home to help us save lives. Act like you've got it. Anyone can spread it. You know, look, this probably cost millions of dollars to make. If they were to hire me, I would have made a campaign that I guarantee to you, everyone would stay home. Do you think I can do it? Do you have faith in me? Look, if this is live and you're in the chat, press 1 if you think I can do it. This is how I would do it, right? How much does this ad campaign cost? Probably £1 million, okay? I would make it like this. During the next month, the police is going to knock on random people's doors. If you answer, we're going to put your name on the list. And if you answer 6 times consecutively, you're going to get $1 million. Can you imagine, like, no, seriously, like, think about the people that get that fourth knock, and you don't know when the cop comes to your door. It has to be the same person. And you have to be at home when they're knocking. They can knock anytime. They can knock at 2 a.m., they can knock at 7 p.m., they can knock at 2 p.m., doesn't matter. You have to open the door, and you have to be the same person. And if you open the door, like that citizen that opens the door gets to win $1 million. Man, I guarantee to you, everyone would stay indoors. Literally, like every single person would stay indoors. Although, maybe I'm wrong, you know, maybe the current system that the UK is already doing is working because people stay at home, considering that the criminal activity has moved from the streets onto online. Online crime is now a thing, but luckily the Lancashire police is on top of it. On Friday the 5th, February 2021, we received a report of an offensive tweet. Can you imagine that? An offensive tweet. The horror. Sir Captain Tamur, who died on Tuesday the 2nd February, a 35-old man, has subsequently been arrested and charged. I hope they throw the book at him. In connection with communication offenses, and is due to appear at Lanark Sheriff Court. You see, these people used to take this bullshit to the free speech corner. Yeah, they have like this little corner in Hyde Park where it's the only place in the United Kingdom where legally you have free speech, allegedly. But now because people can't go out, they say that nonsense online. And the cops activate. And then they throw the book at them. Which is what should happen in a civilized society. Meanwhile, Zuby Music also tweeted out important things about sports and physical activities. Indoor gyms and sports facilities will remain closed. Outdoor sports facilities must also close, including sports courts, outdoor gyms, golf courses, outdoor swimming pools, archery, driving, shooting ranges, riding centers. However, there is good news. The government will allow organized outdoor sports for disabled people. But why though? Why put disabled people's lives at risk? Someone needs to answer for this.
Okay, this gentleman here has purchased his costume. What are you going to be this year, sir?
I really don't know what this is, but I've got something a whole lot scarier.
Let's see it.
Sure thing.
CBC News informs the public on October the 20th, 2020. A disinformation campaign falsely suggests that Canadians will be forcibly sent to quarantine sites. Health officials warn Canadians against believing the internment camp's disinformation. See, this is why we cannot live in a civilized society. People spreading misinformation. It should be a crime to lie. It should be a crime to spread misinformation. These ne'er-do-wells deserve nothing less than swift punishment from the strong arm of the law. In other news, CBC says that 2 men, both now at home, are among the few willing to speak publicly about their mandatory stays in Calgary's isolation hotel, which has been transformed into a federal quarantine facility. We need to arrest the misinformation campaign going on at CBC News. What? Something happened in the United Kingdom and is not COVID related? Did it happen online at least? Because that's important. Oh, it happened offline? Who cares what happens offline? Even like in the streets, like, do you think this is 2010, that people care about what happens on the streets? Okay, fine. You know what? I'll put the video up and you guys tell me if you think this is important or not.
As he approached, the Queen looked up. He stopped at the bottom of the steps, at the top of which the Queen was seated.
Let go of me! You said to me, let go of me! Let go of me!
The service came to a halt. The congregation watched as, still standing a few yards from the Queen, the protester Toyin Agbeto demanded that Britain issue a formal apology for its part in the slave trade.
If the word sorry is so hard to say, and you, the Queen, can you let it go for a punch round? You're a disgrace. A disgrace of ancestors.
Yes, apologize for their contributions. Yes, apologize. Meanwhile, The Guardian posts that the phallic necktie is a symbol of outdated white male supremacy in our parliament. CNN asked the question that progressives have been wondering for a while. Have you ever noticed the popularity of white robots? The reason for the shades of technological white may be racism, according to new research. Well, CNN, tell your researchers that robots are supposed to do menial labors, and robots, by definition, are supposed to be slaves. Why is it that your researchers want to make them non-white? I mean, when I think of a robot, I think like something like this. Like it's something that you use for small menial labor. But maybe CNN researchers, when they think of a robot, they think of something like this.
But I think we can put our differences behind us. For science, you monster.
And speaking of science, the ideology which champions science is telling us that when you think of it, units of measurement are pernicious and harmful bullshit, which never should have been invented, and any proper communist movement should seek to abolish them. Like, the act of measurement itself is an inherent problem. It is the transformation of the subjective into the objective, and that's a path with horrible results we should avoid, says the person using a computer. Lengths of time, temperature, distance, volume, all of these are subjective experiences, not objective things which can be reduced to objective measures, you bigot. And coming up next, more scientific facts from TikTok.
Obesity epidemic isn't real, and it shouldn't be an anti-capitalist talking point. When someone unironically references the obesity epidemic or even uses the word obesity, it tells me they really don't know what they're talking about when it comes to fatness. This use of the word obesity stems directly from the BMI, which was created by a eugenicist with no medical training who based the scale only on white bodies and cow math. Fatness is not an epidemic. Fat people existed before capitalism and before colonization. When you make the obesity epidemic a real symptom of capitalism, you are not only ostracizing fat people from anti-capitalist thinking, but also actively ignoring that the health outcomes related to obesity are more accurately attributed to food deserts and fatphobic discrimination in healthcare. The obesity epidemic was created by Western medicine to avoid addressing the actual causes of health inequity, which is what we as anti-capitalists should be doing.
And in other news, I found out that me, yes, yours truly, is a very disturbed, in fact, a genuinely, thoroughly disturbed person, and there is no way around it. Because, you see, I like to watch Uzakichan. And according to enlightened people on Twitter, if I watch the anime with the little girl with giant tits, I am genuinely disturbed. There is no way around it. And if you use this image as a defense, I'm putting you through controversial shock therapy until you're cured. This is how it started. This is how it's going. Upton becomes the latest professional Super Smash Bros. Player to face accusations of underage sexual misconduct. Bruh. We need to circle back.
But I'll circle back with you. I will circle back to it. I'll have to just circle back with you, and we can circle back with you after the briefing. I'm happy to circle back with you. We will circle back with you. We'll have to take that question too and circle back with you. I hate to disappoint you, but I will have to circle back.
Meanwhile, in the American indoctrinate education system...
What are you getting so upset about Nazism for?
Because it's back, and it's taking over everything. We have to do everything in our out to fight it.
All right,
what are you going to do about it?
Why?
Are you going to be out in the streets fighting the Nazis? I doubt it.
Oh, buddy. I get more than enough opportunities to confront Nazism.
Really? Have you punched a Nazi? Have you gone out in the streets and decked a Nazi? Have you done that?
No. I have never decked a Nazi. What do you get?
Ugh, what a bigot. Like, refusing to do violence. Like, ugh. Speaking of bigotry, look here, you bigot. Biden pick for unemployment program lost $600 million to Nigerian scammers, MSN claims. Wow, now this is the very definition of falling upwards, isn't it? But this is why you need to be a leftist. If you're having difficulties, the Democratic Party helps you. They give you a helping hand because they are the party of strength and unity. And they're not going to leave one of their own behind. President Biden faces growing questions about the appointment of a Democratic donor to oversee billions of dollars in unemployment benefits, despite her role at a state agency that lost hundreds of millions in coronavirus relief funds to Nigerian scammers. Susie Levine departed Washington State's Employment Security Department last month, leaving behind a trail of audits and questions about how $600 million of unemployment funds could be siphoned by cyber criminals. This week, she took up a post as acting assistant secretary at the Employment and Trading Administration within the Labor Department. The position puts her at the forefront of Biden's coronavirus recovery plan and provoked an immediate wave of criticism. Washington residents, who have seen massive error after massive error from Levine's Employment Security Department, are dumbfounded after she would be getting a promotion. This isn't a ceremonial title or a cushy spot for donors. It is a crisis management role and one she's already failed at miserably. Levine and her husband are prolific Biden donors and served until January as Deputy of Finance chairs for the Democratic National Committee, according to her LinkedIn profile. The scammers caused a major scandal in Washington state where the huge levels of fraud prompted delays in legitimate claimants of unemployment benefit at a time when hundreds of thousands of people were struggling within the economic impact of the pandemic. The first of 5 audits, completed in December, blame Levine's department for failing to fix a software vulnerability that contributed to the fraud. ESD did not have effective internal controls in place to ensure unemployment benefit payments were made only to eligible claimants. And you kind of get the gist of it. But I do want to sympathize with the Democrats. She is one of theirs, and therefore she is not going to be left behind. This is indeed the party of compassion and unity.
Go in a dealership here and see if anybody notices. Hello? Sorry?
Can you put your mask up?
My mask, it's up.
You have to put it over your nose.
Sir, it's over my nose.
Oh, wow, that is too cool.
You like that? Yeah, this is how we roll. Go in a deep.
And in other news, the New York Times, a publication which calls for censorship almost on a daily basis and who played a role in censoring Parler off the internet, writes the following article. Clubhouse, a social media app, briefly gave people in China a space to discuss conscientious topics free from the usual restraints of the country's tightly controlled internet. Then the inevitable happened. The censors moved in. Wow. Did they, New York Times? Did they? Unlike America, where you can definitely discuss topics. And since we're on the subject of censorship, it's very important to understand what free speech is and freedom of the press is. Because these are core values of the American system. And they're core values for human rights, for freedom, and the American way of life that are written also in the Constitution. And when you want to understand such complex things, your brain isn't capable of grasping these notions, which is why you need to go to the experts. And the experts are the people at CNN advocating for the censorship of their competitor, Fox News.
There are other options, including the fact that cable operators like Comcast and Charter, which send Fox out to hundreds of millions of people, they can demand some accountability in the way that Facebook and Twitter have done. And there's also, I think, the possibility of reviving the fairness doctrine.
Yes, there are a lot of ways we can take Fox News, our competitor, off the airwaves. This is said by Jeff Bezos' employee, might I add. Now, the issue is that they're not asking for censorship, and they get insulted if you even suggest it, okay? What they want is harm reduction.
And Tucker Carlson is telling viewers that this network, CNN, is trying to force Fox News off the air, which is patently false. But while some cry cancel culture, let me suggest a different way to think about this. A harm reduction model. But reducing a liar's reach is not the same as censoring freedom of speech. Freedom of speech is different than freedom of reach.
See, you bigot, you thought it was censorship, but it was harm reduction all along. Just don't try to call for the harm reduction of CNN, because then you become a danger to their democracy. Isn't this like the language of social workers? Like they take something that's really bad, but they put a nice ring to it. Like it's not kids in cages, it's overflowing facilities. I love I love the left. I love the left. Like they have the power to make something that's bad sound pleasant. Anyway, that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, consider signing up to my Subscribestar. There's a link into the description, and I'll give you buyer remorse in exchange. For one-time donation, do consider giving this a super chat. And if you're penniless, like I am right now, then just give it a thumbs up or a comment. I appreciate that as well. In fact, I appreciate your viewership regardless. So let me know what you think in the comment section, and I'll see you guys there. Have a pleasant weekend.